Life as a man is incredibly tough, both a blessing and a burden. The reality is, men are born without inherent value. Society does not care about you unless you make yourself valuable. Your worth is determined by your usefulness, by what you can offer. The beauty of this is that you have the power to shape yourself into something extraordinary, to become a force to be reckoned with. But that only happens if you're willing to put in the relentless effort, to push forward no matter what. If you sit around waiting for someone to hand you success, you will be ignored, forgotten, and disrespected. Many people fail to realize just how brutal and competitive life is for men. We are constantly measuring ourselves against each other, always in competition. And as a man, it is your responsibility to rise above, to strive for greatness, to be strong, disciplined, and principled. You must commit to the hard work required to achieve that. The real danger lies in men who let their emotions dictate their actions. Men who are overly emotional become reckless, unstable, and even dangerous. The irony is that the same people who condemn traditional masculinity fail to see that true masculinity is about control, discipline, and responsibility. A real man does what needs to be done, not because he feels like it, but because it is his duty. He runs into the fire because he must, not because it's easy. But today's society is teaching young men that they have no duty, that they should act purely on their emotions with no sense of responsibility. And when men lose control over themselves, chaos follows. Look at the world today. When men act purely on impulse, we see destruction, violence, and instability. A man who cannot control his emotions is a danger to everyone around him. The solution isn't to encourage men to break down and give into their emotions at every turn. A man who is calm, composed, and in control of himself is not a threat. He is a protector, a provider, a leader. He takes the time to think, to act with purpose. But a man who reacts impulsively, who does whatever he feels without restraint, becomes destructive. The constant push to make men more emotional, more reactive, more unrestrained is exactly why we see so much disorder in the world today. A strong man is not one who suppresses his emotions, but one who masters them, who uses them as fuel rather than being ruled by them. Look around you, look at your life, look at the world. Weak men, broken men, controlled men. And do you know why? Because they don't control their emotions. Their emotions control them. You wake up angry, you lash out. You feel sad, you hide. You get hurt, you quit. You're just a puppet, a slave to every little feeling that bubbles inside you. And that, my friend, is why you will never be truly powerful until you fix this. The most dangerous men in history, the ones who built empires, conquered cities, and led armies, were not the men who cried over every little setback. They were the ones who mastered themselves. Because a man who cannot control his own mind will never control his life. So today, I'm going to tell you exactly how to stop being weak, how to stop reacting like a child, and how to start controlling your emotions like a king, because if you don't, the world will control them for you. Look at the most powerful men in history, the ones who built empires, the ones who dominated industries, the ones who conquered entire civilizations. Do you think they let emotions guide their decisions? Do you think they cried in the corner when things got hard? Absolutely not. They operated with cold, calculated logic. They removed emotion from the equation and focused on one thing only: winning. Because the moment you let your emotions take the wheel, you become vulnerable, and vulnerability is exploitable. The second you react instead of strategizing, the second you hesitate because you feel bad, the second you let anger, sadness, or fear dictate your actions, you lose. And now, let me ask you this. How many times have you made a bad decision because you were emotional? How many times have you said something in anger that you regretted later? How many times have you allowed a bad mood to ruin an entire day, an entire opportunity, an entire phase of your life? And where has that gotten you? You've been letting your feelings run the show like an undisciplined child throwing tantrums, and then you wonder why your life isn't where you want it to be. It's because you lack control. A man who is ruled by his emotions is a man who is ruled by the world. You cannot call yourself strong if you cannot even master yourself. Strength isn't about lifting weights. It isn't about looking tough in the mirror. Strength is the ability to stand in the middle of a storm and not flinch. Strength is watching everything crumble around you and still making the right decisions. Strength is being insulted, being doubted, being attacked, and not reacting because you have full control over yourself while the rest of the world flails around like a bunch of children. Discipline is knowing what needs to be done and doing it regardless of how you feel. That's the difference between winners and losers. Winners understand that emotions are just noise, useless distractions that try to pull them away from their goals. Losers, on the other hand, let those emotions dictate their lives. They wake up and decide how productive they'll be based on their mood. They let fear stop them from taking action. They let frustration make them quit. And then they look at their empty bank account, their unfulfilled dreams, their wasted potential, and they wonder what went wrong. What went wrong is simple. You let your feelings get in the way of your progress.
I knew I would be the best. I genuinely knew I would be the best. You have to understand that this world, everyone constantly tells you, do not be arrogant. Do not have an ego. When I had my Twitter, I put my ego into overdrive because I found it entertaining. But people will constantly tell you to not talk in a way which is full of conviction. People do not like you to be arrogant and have an ego. This is the worst thing ever. Let me tell you the fact, the number one facet of the G mindset. Your life is never going to be worse if you walk through the world believing you are the fucking man. You wake up and look in the mirror and go, I'm the fucking man. I am the man. There's no one on this planet who can do shit I couldn't do if I put my mind to it. I don't give a fuck how good you are at piano. If I decide to play piano, I would be better than you at piano. And I believe that. I don't just say these things, I fucking believe them. And when you go through life believing you really, really are the man, there are very few downsides. The downsides are everyone's gonna call you an arrogant, everyone's gonna call you arrogant, everyone's gonna call you a dickhead, everyone's gonna say he has a big ego. You're gonna lose a few loser friends. Who cares? What you are gonna gain is other people on the same path. You're gonna gain other people who think, yeah, well, I'm the fucking man too. This guy's the man, let's make some money. That's what's gonna happen. So the first thing you can do with the G mindset is you need to start believing you are the fucking man. Even if you're not the man yet, even before I was world champion, I knew I was gonna be the man. So I don't give a fuck. And I was happy to say that to anybody. When people called me arrogant, I'm stupid and deluded, I just sit there, look at them and say, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna be the man. And this is how now, when my life's kind of come full circle. And the reason I managed to go full circle is seeing someone else with more success than me, ingrained in my brain. And to a lot of people, it doesn't ingrain in their brain. I was walking to school. If I was walking to college with my friends, I used to have to walk. I went to a college on the other side of town. So I had to walk 4.6, I think it was, fucking miles to college. It was a fucking nightmare. So I used to walk. Halfway, I meet some other people that towards the end, there'll be a group of 5 or 6 of us along the way. And when I met, and one day a Ferrari burnt past us, and everyone else was like, oh yeah, Ferrari. I'm like, and I remember saying to the group, I was only 18, I said, doesn't it annoy you that this guy has a fucking 300,000 pound car and we'll probably never have one? And they're like, oh yeah, it's only a car. I'm like, no, you don't understand. There is a life hack. There's something happening where people are living lives that other people don't get to live. There's something happening. There's something going on. I want to have a 300,000 pound car. I want it. And no one else wanted it. These little events didn't ingrain in their brain. Ferrari driving past me bothered me. And it bothered me to my core, to the point where I decided I would do anything it takes to have one. Whereas other people just saw it and carry on with their normal lives. This is the reason I have 6 or 7 supercars and other people don't. Because these small events ingrained in my brain. So this is the second thing. G mindset. First thing you have to believe you're the fucking man, you can achieve anything. And when I say that, I'm gonna say that again. You have to believe you're the fucking man, and you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'm not saying you can achieve anything easily. I'm not saying it's not gonna take a whole bunch of work. I'm not saying it's gonna happen quickly, but you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'll tell you something now, I don't give a fuck if it's being an astronaut. I don't care about climbing Mount Everest. You give me enough time to train, I will get it done. I know that for a fact because I know who I am as a man. You need to be perspicacious. You need to understand that in this world, there's a whole bunch of people doing amazing shit that you are not doing. And that needs to piss you off, because it pisses you off, you become motivated all of a sudden. I was the only one who was pissed off when that Aston Martin was next to me and I had my sales job. I was the only one who was pissed off when I saw that Ferrari drive past. Other people were not annoyed by it, and they're not annoyed by it. They're not driven to be it. You understand? They're not driven to be where that person was. You need to be annoyed, and I'm telling you to be angry. Anger is a fantastic force. Like I said, the world tells you not to be arrogant, tells you not to be angry. It's 2 things it tells you to do. Don't be arrogant, don't have an ego, and you don't have anger. You're a fucking man. You're a full-grown man. Perfectly fine for you to be pissed off. It's perfectly fine for you to look around at your life, look at the house you live in, look at the car you drive, and get pissed off and go, you know what, I want a hotter bitch. I want a fucking nicer house. I want a faster car. There's nothing wrong if you take that anger and you direct it in the correct direction. This is the reason I stopped fighting them. People go, why do you stop fighting? That's because I fought and I went through hell to get everything I now have. I had nothing when I fought. I had nothing. And I wanted the life I now have. Now I wake up in one of my 3 mansions with one of my 7 supercars and one of my 15 women. What do I need to fight for? Like, people have different motivations for different things. There's some fighters out there who fight for other reasons, you know? But my motivation was I was pissed off at the world. And now I'm not as angry as I used to be. So I don't believe I'm as good a fighter as I used to be. I'll still whoop some ass, but I'm not as good as I used to be. So that's why I've decided to retire early. But this is the second thing. First thing, believe you're the man. Second thing, you need to get angry about your situation. When you look around you and you don't own the home you're in, get pissed off. If there ain't a Ferrari on your drive, get pissed off. If you don't have 10 Playboy Bunny level beauties, get pissed off. And then, what the fuck? You need to sit there and realize, whoa. I have a few years of consciousness, and even less than that, I have a few short years as a young man. Age will damage you. I mean, if you're a millionaire when you're 60, it's not nearly as good as being a millionaire at my age. I became a millionaire at 28. So you need to realize you got a few short years as a young man. You're fucking wasting it. You need to sit there and go, fuck, shit, get angry. Because getting angry, forced, directed anger is an extremely powerful force. Nobody, absolutely nobody, gives a fuck about you as much as you're gonna have to give a fuck about yourself. Nobody cares about you as much as they need to care to fix your life. Even your parents, even your friends, even all the people who think they care about you, they care about you. Yeah, sure, there may be 2 or 3 people on the planet who genuinely care about you, but nobody is gonna come to your bed, drag you out of bed, fucking drag you to a job, force you to work hard, go and get you a hot bitch and go and buy you a Ferrari. Nobody is going to do that for you. You are never gonna have any of the things you want if you do not get them yourself. Nobody cares about you enough to do it for you. This is absolutely true. Personally, I'm an atheist. And when I say I'm an atheist, people seem to be a bit confused by this. I don't know why that surprises people, but I'm absolutely and utterly an atheist. And the reason I'm an atheist is because I believe that there is no grand plan. There's no God in the sky looking out for me. I don't believe that there's anyone here to save me on this planet or in the sky or anywhere else. I am me. I was born. I have maybe, if I'm lucky, 70, because I'm quite big. When you're physically large, you die sooner. 70 years of consciousness. And these years I experienced, the only person who's going to make them fun and exciting and interesting, the only person who's going to make me happy and live a life that I want to live is me. Nobody's going to do it for me. No God has a plan for me. There's no one else who wakes up each day and goes, you know what? I want to make Andrew Tate's life better. I want to get him more pussy and more money. No one thinks that about me. No one thinks that about you either. Nobody thinks that about you. Only person who gives a shit about your life truly is you. And if you don't give a shit, then you're fucked. And after you get angry, you need to realize that nobody is going to give you the things you want. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump is president or not. I'm a huge Trump fan, but it doesn't make a difference. No politician is going to make you rich. No one else is going to come along and say, I'm going to concentrate my effort on fixing your life. Nobody. You have to understand you are out here alone, absolutely alone. And when you understand these 3 things, you start to see how a mindset comes together. Nobody's going to save you. Fucked. It's totally down to you. Pissed off with your current situation and you want to change it. Plus, you believe you can do absolutely anything. This is how I thought at 18 years old. This is how I achieved so much in the short years. This is how I went from a nobody to world level athlete and a multimillionaire. Also, people confuse the two. Kickboxing is not boxing. I made across my entire career in kickboxing, maybe about 700,000. I now have about 8 or 9 million. This was not made in kickboxing. This was made in other ventures. I have managed to be a world level athlete and an extremely successful businessman at exactly the same time. Because at a very young age, when I had my prime resource of energy and power at 18, 19 years old, I understood those 3 tenets. I believe I can do anything. I'm pissed off I don't have the life I want. And nobody else is going to give it to me. These are 3 things you need to understand. If any one of these elements is missing, you'll never have the right mindset. The G mindset will never formulate if any one of these elements is missing. All 3 are absolutely essential. And the sooner you get your act together, the sooner you start to panic and worry and be concerned that you're 24, 25, you're not fucking rich yet. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who got a contract for fucking NBA, where their parents say they won the lottery or who knows what. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who are multimillionaires fucking the hot models. These Instagram girls with 3 million followers, they're getting dicked by someone and it ain't you. And that needs to piss you off. You need to get concerned, you get worried, shit, I'm running out of time. You need to get some urgency in your life.